All right, I think we're live. Hello, everyone. A little late today. Technology having its way with me, but no worries. It's all good. Let's. I think we're even a little crooked here. Look at that. We're a little crooked here. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. I think that's good. That's as good as we're gonna get. So we'll fix to the hair I have left. Today we're doing something super fun. It's Wednesdays. I like to draw birds, and there's a few reasons to be excited. One, it's a really fun bird. We're drawing a wren. Now, there's a lot of different wrens out there, and truth be told, last night I was doing some sketches of wrens, and it was fun. It was fun. They're very fun birds. There's variations within the. Get back. Hold it. There's a lot of different wrens in areas. There's wrens throughout a good part of the world. They vary. Their behaviors are pretty similar. Their markings and size have slight differences. For example, the length of the beak, slightly different markings, slight differences in sizes, but they do have in common pretty much the look, the color, and their markings, which are pretty. But, most people look at them and say, oh, it's a little brown bird. It's actually, a lot of those little brown birds out there have huge personalities, and the wren is not an exception. It is quite hyper, I want to say, jumps around a lot, is constantly looking for insects in every single nook, cranny. It leaves no stone unturned, and it is very vocal. I wish I had this specific wren song, but we don't today. But we're going to draw the wren in mid-song, and if I have time, which I'm hoping to, the attempt is to do 2 wrens on one page, one big sketchbook page, have a nice little composition, and we'll take a look. So let's just take a look really quick. Look at that. There's our wren. There's our wren. There's it again. Really pretty. Yeah, really pretty. So I am going to have our wren in 2 different positions, as you see. And there we are with our sketchbook. This was last night. As you can see, just made a few notes, lots of different positions. And when I sketch loose like this, I still use more or less the same tools. Watercolor pencil. And in this case, I used, of course, fountain pen. And I do not have it with me, but a red ballpoint pen. So that's why you see those reddish tones in there. And yeah, this is fun, really cute. I put this as a story on Instagram just to kind of give a behind the scenes of what we're doing. So that's what we're doing. We're going to leave it to the side. That's my study. That's how I get ready for live streams in general. And any kind of large or project that I'm doing that I want to kind of get it right. So that's what I did here. But more importantly, look what we got. This is important. This is important. We have a brand new sketchbook. I finished the other sketchbook, and I did a number on that sketchbook, but who cares? I love it. I am going to start the sketchbook on the very first page, which is something I don't normally do. But because we're friends, we're fam, I am going to get started on the very first page. Usually what I recommend doing, I think I mentioned this on Monday. Look at that. It's such a good feeling. I'm sorry. I'm distracted. This is such a good feeling. Look at that. There you go. Oh, just delicious. It's gonna, there. Goodbye. Um, One thing that I like about these sketchbooks. Oh, there's a train coming. Oh, hear it? Anyway, we live near a train, about 4 blocks away, which is close enough to hear the train. Such is life living in and near a major city. One thing, again, that I love about this sketchbook, it's so simple. It's like very zen. It's meant for, if you see this right here, it's a little guard there, and it's meant for a pencil. I love coil ring sketchbooks, but you can carry this around, even though it's a big size. You carry it underneath your arm, very precious, to a museum or a park. It's very easy and very simple. Ballpoint pen fits in here too, like a Bic. So quite nice. I really love these sketchbooks. This is made by Holbein, and Holbein is, as you may have known or heard already, Holbein is one of my very favorite companies and brands. I love their watercolor paint, their gouache, and these sketchbooks. So great brand, really fun. Enjoy it very much. I'm going to, because this is such a big sketchbook, we're going to go and just really quickly, I am going to change my lens. I was hoping to keep it, but when we do details, I'll get back to this. But I want to show how I'm going to do the entire layout. So let's go ahead and do that. One day I'm going to have something that automatically changes lenses. I don't like zoom lenses. I like fixed lenses. So that's part of the issue. That's part of the problem here, is that I like fixed lenses. So we have to change lenses every once in a while. That's okay. That's okay. Little rush this morning. Such is life. I'm working one of my classes later. One of my favorite classes, actually. They're all my favorite classes, honestly. I really enjoy all my classes. I'm really lucky. Really lucky, except for putting this lens on. But otherwise, I'm pretty fortunate in terms of professional, kind of finding my tribe. And part of that is expanding to you, finding my tribe. You're all my tribe. You are all my tribe. So welcome. You're always welcome here. Now we have our, there we go. Fantastic. Let's get, how about we get a reference here? This would be good. Let's get a good reference here. I have 2. So we want to get the mid song, our bird's mid song. And we'll go ahead. Let's show facing. I want them facing each other. So we'll see. We'll talk about the composition in a moment. So this is our Wren, our first Wren that we're going to draw. I'm going to set up a space for both of them, and you're going to see that right now in a moment. I'm already thirsty, believe it or not. Such a mess here today. What's going on? All right. We are, let's see. Actually, no. That's not going to be the one. I was going to draw this one. I say paint. We painted watercolor. It was an experience on Monday. We're going to place this somewhere else, but that's okay. I just want to show that's one, and let's show our other reference that we're using from our friend here. Right? There we go. So those 2, I'm not necessarily going to draw them in that order. I'm going to draw them kind of at the same time, and that'll make sure that the composition stays pretty tight and how I would like it to. So we're going to, as you can see, I have a bunch of things here. including our little pouch. This is my magic pouch. My key, my favorite drawing tools. This is the expanded kit. I have a couple fountain pens, both Pelicans, and 2 different brown inks, because there are 2 different inks or 2 different inks, 2 different colors, 2 different saturation and temperatures of what we would say brown. So we're going to try to capture that with this bird, keeping it one color, keeping it kind of mono, but just a hint of a second color in there. Pencils. So as you can see, we're going to do what I've always done in these Wednesday and Thursday drawings, the way I like to draw my favorite way. A few different watercolor pencils. These are all, these are a blend of, these are both, let's see, these are Caran d'Ache and let's see, and a Faber-Castell. All watercolor pencils, all water soluble. So when you take a brush to it, it spreads a little bit like watercolor. Very nice. So we're going to start off with those. Of course, we have, again, this is another one. These are, let's see, this is a walnut brown. We have a walnut brown. This one is painfully small, so we have no idea what this is. This is a sanguine. So it's a walnut brown, a sanguine. And yeah, this is also sanguine. Or was it brown? Yes, sanguine, I believe. And another one, this is brawn. It was just brawn. It's brown. They just spelled it really, really nice way. I think these are Swedish, from Sweden. The Caran d'Ache pencils. All right, we're not going to start with our fountain pens. We're going to start with our watercolor pencils, and I am going to go pretty much the high key one, which is this red. Let's see if we could get a good image of that red right there. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Right? Let's see. Come on, my friend. Let's go. Yeah. All right. So red and more of a sepia. We needed to sharpen this. This is, look at it. It's blunt. All right. Maybe we stay away from this one. I want to keep it sharp pencils. There we go. Okay. Let's get going. Let's get going. As I said, we're going to have space for both. I would like to see them kind of face each other. Let's see. I don't want them going off, singing out of the page. So I think I'm going to have them facing our one going right here. So I'm just going to make a line. That's more or less where I want it to be. And then we have our second wren. And this is, I believe it's a Eurasian wren. And our Eurasian wren here is going to be just here. And I'm going to have them on that pine. It's like maybe the end of a pine branch. So you can do that right there. I'm just laying it out. Quick boxes. A quick box. Let's see. We got to sit up a little bit. Quick box right there. Again, as I've said before, I work with my images very small, my references. I go from video, and I like to work quite small. It would be nice if they were singing towards each other. Yes, you know what? I think I like that idea more. So that it looks like they're singing towards each other. That'll be nice. That's nice. I like that much better, that idea. Let's see if we could fit them in here. They're approximately, oh goodness, what are they in centimeters? I need to do a conversion. I am spacing out here. We need to do a conversion. A conversion here of inches to centimeters. I'm blanking out. We're going to do that right now. Let's see. Convert 5 inches, interwebs. Okay, so it's around 5 inches, 8 miles. What on earth? This converted it to miles. Wow, that was wild. Okay, there we go. 5 inches, 12 centimeters, 12 to 13 centimeters are our Eurasian wren. We have to do a quick search there for a second. And we just decided, I changed it up. I was going to have this wren that's looking up at the upright corner, but I'm actually going to have it in the bottom corner and have it look like it is big guidelines. These are huge. This isn't even the bird at all. This is just where I want the bird. I want each of them. Again, we're drawing 2 wrens, one in one direction and another in another direction. They may not even be maybe rivals, or let's say they're rivals. You know, birds aren't like always so cute and sweet. There's reasons behind their behavior and songs, you know, whether it's mating or I'm going to work back and forth from one bird to the next because I'm considering this as a whole page, not just one bird, this bird, this bird, this beak, working very large, thinking about the entire page. This might not be to scale the way I draw it. I'm going to, this isn't a scientific drawing, but I'm going to get as close and faithful to the size of our wrens here. So we have one here. This might be too big. That's okay. We can always, I prefer going bigger because for some reason when you go bigger, you always, let's say, okay, so if you try to go to size, there's a tendency to start to tighten up and get much smaller, unless you're really going precise and, you know, going the really traditional atelier way of having the model in front of you, which we do not. We have video, which is the best we can do, and doing our plumb lines, measuring the angles perfectly. We're doing something that's a little more, let's just say, well, it's a sketch. Good morning, Patty. How are you? You've come at a good time because we just got over the hump of some technical issues, but all good. Oh, thank you. So today I am drawing, this is a brand, oh, you missed it. Oh my goodness, this is a brand new sketchbook. Just so, I think this is the most important part. This is a brand new sketchbook. This is a sketchbook that I've used pretty consistently. It has this nice little, so you can just go and carry it with you. Beautiful sketchbook. It's Holbein. I love it very much, and I like it a lot because there's a lot of, just enough pages, but not so much that it's intimidating and you leave it at the side. You know, you toss it away after a while and start a new sketchbook. So I quite like them, and they respond well to different media. So I'm going to draw 2 wrens. These are both Eurasian wrens. There's similarities, but we're going to keep it like this. And they're going to be singing over each other. These are very active birds, and you know, I find that everyone loves the Blue Jays and the Cardinals, and they are gorgeous. There's no doubt about that. They're gorgeous birds. But these brown birds, these what birders call little brown birds, they have a ton of personality, and you just have to love them. And, well, I love them, but then again, I think of all the things that I like to draw, birds are my absolute favorite. Birds are my absolute favorite. And really, 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 really big. Not worrying about just situating where these birds are going to sit. So I don't want them overlapping too much, but just enough. So we have our one bird, we're going to make a line of the song where the song is going, right? They're very vocal birds. And then we have our other friend that is going and singing. Let's see, a song is something like that. So they're each framing one another. Do something like that. They're going to overlap a little bit, and that's okay. Create a nice composition to our drawing. And this is good when you do bigger pieces, when you do drawings like this. And for me, my sketchbook is kind of like my museum, and that doesn't mean that everything's perfect, but I feel like it's the most honest of anything you can do. I don't know if that's a good description to say it's the most honest, as if everything else I do is a lie. It's a lie. It's all a lie. They're all lies. Okay. I appreciate that you came back on Monday. Monday was a struggle, but we got through it. Maybe not what we wanted exactly, but definitely better than how it was going. It's getting the shape, and I'm working off this reference pretty loosely again. However, I am making sure that I don't get too caught up in things. And the one trick is, or the challenge, is not to spend too much time to go back and forth. So now I have this one, and I don't want to spend too much time on either one. I want to go back and forth, because this way I make sure that this layout I made is correct, but also the look stays consistent. So there's going to be a lot of trial and error, a lot of erasing, not too much erasing, but some erasing. These are water soluble, so I try to kind of keep a lot of that in there. To me, it's part of the charm of the sketchbook, is to see the history of it, see what happened underneath. But I may erase just to, if anything, erase some lines just to get rid of some confusion. And that little, I'm going to try and draw for both without getting in the way. That little end of the pine branch. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. That was me getting into the headspace of Breath of the Wild and Zelda, and really thinking about what it was. I'm the person that always watches the behind the scenes of how this was made, how movies were made. I love that when it's on, let's say, HBO, or if they have it available as extras on Netflix or whatever it is. I love, love, love. And that for me was kind of doing a little behind the scenes of how Breath of the Wild was made, which I suppose I haven't started playing Tears of the Kingdom, mostly because I'm still wandering on my hands and knees, still looking for arrows in Breath of the Wild. I can't find my arrows. I can't find the arrows. I'm not a good gamer, but it's fun. And it was challenging to, like, I had to let go. I had to let go on Monday and just not think about, okay, I'm going to draw and do a copy of the graphics there. I didn't want to do that because that's already done, one, and it's not as fun, I guess. I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, but it's not as fun. Right, fixing that wing. Fixing some angles. And I don't like the way that the beak is being handled here, but that's a detail, so it serves me right. I should be focusing on the overall pie. Don't mind me, I'm going to interrupt myself as I draw. So we're going between conversation and play by play. I guess it's a good word. Now, this is why you have to go back and forth. The line is different where I want it to sit. I got lucky with this reference. I love using video reference because, especially with birds, it's really difficult to have them model for you. They don't. I work with fantastic models, and they change their poses on a timer, and they're just have all these great poses, but they hold that pose for the specified amount of time, whereas birds could care less about what it is that you're doing. They really don't care. I mean, I guess why should they, right? And here on the beak, I'm a little confused. I just want to draw the negative shape, which is the shape in between right there. Now, and children, I guess, and small children. I don't have children, but I enjoy. That's terrible to say. I enjoy seeing the hard time that they give their parents running around and pretty fun. They don't care, and that's the best part about them, is that they don't care. Just do not care. The throat here, it's a nice feature, nice big block that's going to happen there. Again, I am going to erase just to, I usually talk about not erasing, but in this case, because it's going to be 2 and I was figuring out the layout a little bit, the size, they're relatively the same size. I feel like they're a little too long. These are more of an egg shape. Yeah, for sure. All right, so we have that one there. We have our friend here. This is going to work. So at least I know that where they are on the page, this is going to work, and I'm happy about that. Now it's just kind of cleaning up. So this stage went well. I know it looks like a mess, but this stage went okay. So I'm just gonna get rid of these big guides that I don't need anymore. including the direction that their song is going. White, small foam eraser, you could see everything's staying on, it picks up that color. And I like these because they do not damage the paper. And one way to ensure that is that you erase in one direction and not scrape, so that the paper stays pristine and undamaged. I don't need these big lines anymore. I believe we're good. Some of these guides that I have a little closer to them, to the birds, I am going to keep those because I may want to make some corrections. Over here, I know this head is not the way I want it to be, and I think I want this bird to be a little rounder, a little fatter. These birds, a lot of these small birds, especially here, they really are basically an egg with a head and tail, some wings. That's really what they are. They are almost exactly what they came out of, an egg. So that there's definitely I want to keep that tighter. And here, I think I didn't. I think this is a little closer, but I don't think our friend here is. I actually think this is going to be harder to draw. We're drawing this from underneath, but also the angle is a little interesting. So that's going to be tough, or a little more challenging, I should say. I'm going to grab my shaving brush. As everyone knows, I don't need it because I keep this perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, which sometimes turns into wilderness mountain man shadow. And my partner does not like that, so I try to keep it at this length, but I never need the shaving brush. So I use it as a drafting table brush. And just get rid of it. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah. Some artists and instructors prefer the kneaded eraser, which is the mushy one. It's like clay or plastilina or something like that. And I don't like that because it sticks to the paper. It's okay like to kind of roll it, like if it's pizza dough, and that lightens the lines. But this actually gets rid of the lines. It can remove them completely, or you could also use it to lighten them up. The important thing is to not go too hard and beat up the paper. But I prefer the white foam erasers. This is a Pentel high polymer eraser. They'll call them different things, but that's essentially what they are. If you ask for like white foam erasers on any supply website or art store, they'll know exactly what you're talking about. They're pretty easy to find. They're always next to the pencils. But the white ones are very good with color pencils in particular. Not every eraser can work with color pencils. All right, so I love this part because the stage of drawing, I don't know if it seems apparent, but I have the beak and the head going in different directions, so it's almost like it's moving. I'm capturing the different areas, the different places the head was within a split second. So it looks like a little bit of a blur, and I don't know why, I just like the way that looks. I might lose it later on, but I do like the way it looks. Let's grab before we forget. Oh no. There we go. Let's grab a brush. Excuse my back. Just to have it with us nice and tidy. And I think I can go. Hi, Jinx. How are you? I think I'm going to go a little tighter here. So I'm going to go back to, oh, maybe not. I'll go back in. I'm using different colored watercolor pencils. So we have actually that's not. It's still going to be what we would call brown, but I'm kind of cheating today. So it's going to be 2 color, maybe something like that. This is like a brighter right here, when I add water to it, you're going to see it just like really brightens up. This one a little less so, and that one even less. So it's going to be kind of fun. So we're going to add the different color pencils here now. This was more for guides, and now I'm just going to go in and start tightening this up. And once I do a little more, then I'll switch lenses and we'll get a little closer. So as I said, 4. There we go. This goes into the head. It connects somewhere there. It's going to look a little weird and incorrect for a little while, but I promise that this is actually correct. A little too far over here, so I'm just going to lighten that up a little bit. This bottom area of the beak is bothering me a little too much. I'm going to stay away because I'm making my lines way too dark too quickly. There we go. I knew this was too long. I knew this was too long. I knew maybe that this head is too big. So it really is, this bird is helpful in drawing in that it really is an egg with wings and a tail and a beak. I'm doing well today. So far, so good. Drawing birds is a good way to get over the Wednesday hump. Starting just a little bit. The tail has this like fluff to it, which is really pretty. Even though they seem like, oh, it's just a brown bird. It's not just a brown bird. They have a lot of beautiful markings. I love sparrows. I love sparrows. There we go. Now I know what I did wrong. And this I'm going to lighten up. Because I know I knew it. I knew I made this head too big. I made again, one side, one direction, like the band that broke up. With the eraser so it doesn't damage the paper. I knew it. I knew I did something that was off here, and it was that the head was way too big. I just knew it. I knew it in my gut. I have class today. And so this is my relaxing time with all of you before I have to get to work. And I'm going to go right through the beak to the top of the head, right through, down through the throat of our friend here. And in a moment, as I was saying earlier, I am going to go back to our friend here at the bottom because I don't want to spend too much time on one to make sure that they have a unity to them once this is done. That's it. Slightly smaller legs. Bird's feet are basically squares. It's a square or close to a square with a circle inside to make up the direction of each toe. And I'm just going to lay out really quickly how this end of the pine is going. So now we have, there we have our end of the pine, edge of the pine. We're getting a lot closer with the shape of our bird up here, which is singing in that direction, right over the tail of the one on the bottom. And this one's going right through beneath the top bird. So I'm going to go back. Let's go back here to our friend here in the bottom. And this one's going to have a lot of character to it. That's the hope. Refining the shape here of there. Much smaller head than how I originally created, but it's better to go bigger and scale down than have it too small and have to scale up, because essentially you have to just redo the entire drawing. So it's better to exaggerate from the start. Actually, then beak isn't that long. So I was saying it's better to exaggerate big, go big, and then tighten things up like I'm doing now. This is the second color pencil that I'm using. Right, that's the shape there. Coming down here, and now again tightening up the shape. Tightening up the shape. And this round area here where they go right through the belly. So it's the throat is here. We have our throat here. It goes into the wing, and then the chest. Have huge birds have, I mean, it's a little morbid, but if you've ever seen a chicken or had chicken or turkey, you see that their chest, their rib cage is absolutely enormous relative to the size of their skull, or more so than we have it. And I think that's why non-bird people created the term bird brain, because they're small. But birds are smart as any animal. They have phenomenal instincts. They're not just cute. They do pretty wild stuff. There we go. So now we're tighter here. Perfect. Perfect. Get a little bit. Same thing here. Same thing here. Our tail is moving away the other direction, actually. A little less of that angle. Look at the big difference where I had the tail to where I have it now. Not as big, Let's see if I hope it's kind of clear. If I had this, if I had made this smaller, I wouldn't have a reference to go off of. This exaggeration here, it kind of works as a guide or an envelope. Envelope. Still a little long here. Still a little long here. Don't like that. I don't like this distance. The head is still a little too. I'm going to bring his head. It's the size of the head that is not working for me. There we go. Now, I'm going to have to make a little bit of erase a little bit here. There we go. Now I can get rid of some of these lines here. Now I know I can get rid of this here. Maybe not that little oof of the tail of the rump. This is actually not the tail so much as it is the rump area going into the tail, that fluffy part there that honestly adds to the charm of this bird. This isn't necessarily correct, but I'm taking artistic license here. I like that exaggeration. Whereas I didn't like what I was doing over here. So I make these decisions kind of on the fly. That's good. See, they're coming together at the same time rather than going all out and finishing this drawing and then starting over with another drawing. It helps in terms of not just the composition and making sure you're doing everything correctly between the two, but it helps in terms of energy and managing your energy and your focus. So that's one thing we have to do when we're drawing a lot. We have to manage our energy and our focus. See, our friend here is really a lot smaller in terms of its body. Right? The body ends here. And I wouldn't have realized that if I hadn't drawn this one on the other side. A little smaller there. And because these are watercolor pencils, I'm not freaking out too much. Smaller head. Smaller head. Get this eye here. There. And that is now, it's looking down a little bit further, which makes it a little more interesting too. See it constantly. And like I said, this one I knew I was going to do more erasing. I know I always say not to do that, but I had a feeling in my gut. So the first series of lines I did with our more sanguine colored pencil. We're going to a walnut. I didn't erase these too much. We're going to a walnut where you're seeing me tighten up and erasing a little more. It's still more. Still a little bit more. That's it. That's it. Now I got it. That's what I wanted. Oh, I did rub there. I'm not following my own advice. But see, what you see here is not the paper, it's the eraser. And that's what's important. You want the eraser to lose a little bit of its material, not the paper. Okay. I don't need to worry about all of that there because a lot of it's going to go away when I add color. Time and patience. That's all this is time and patience. Time, patience, and being okay with making mistakes. It's not really a mistake. You're just doing these estimates. Okay. This wasn't the right estimate. Let's go back. Kind of look at it as math or science. I know that seems boring, but it is helpful. There we go. There we go. And let's see our line here. The line for the eye line. And the eye sits right here. Now I am much, much happier. Much, much happier with our friend here. I'd like to open its beak a little more so it's clearer that it's singing. So that's only the bottom that I need to change. Leave the top alone. I want that beak to be far more open like our friend here. Well, it's not. I don't think they're friends, but we can have that awkward relationship where you have two friends who don't like each other, and that's our case here. These two, I'm assuming they are male wrens, and they do not like each other. They're rivals. So they're trying to outsing each other. And again, I feel like this. Where are we going here? There we go. There we go. This bottom one was giving me a lot of trouble. Bottom one was giving me a lot of trouble. Now it looks like it's sticking out a tongue. sticking out its tongue at our other bird. All right, that's looking better. I know it looks like a mess from this angle, but I'm going to tighten things up. I'll change the our lens in a moment. I'm going to make a change here to what it actually looks like, and have it sit a little further straight up. Shorter and straighter. There. And that's okay, that line there, because it just so happens that the marking on the tail splits right there. All right. I think I'm going to add some watercolor now to define the overall block, since I did a lot over here. And that'll tame this down a little bit, if that makes sense. Just clarify right here, our friend. The most important part here is their mouths, because I think we are good. I did an okay job with this one here. Okay job with this one. That's a little much sharper, isn't it? That tail is a little shorter. It's okay. I'm going a little harder with up my lines. Just defining things a little more. Kind of. Shoulder. Going right up against the throat. Now we're defining things all up. All right. Got rid of this over here. And because there's so many different kinds of wrens, when we finish this, I could say, when someone's like, oh, is that a Eurasian wren? Is that a house wren? Is that a... Yes. Yes, you're right, it is. No. And that's okay, because I'm making some choices here based on what what I think might look best. Now we have this pine cone here. Again, it's basically a square or a cube with a circle inside. And that's the basis of bird feet. And the other one is behind us, so we can go ahead and get rid of that. Okay. Brushes. I think I want a number 6. I want a little bit of variety because I just don't want to wash over it. And as we're taking a little break, excuse me. If you don't know already, I like to drink apple juice while I'm live streaming. It's a thing. It's a thing. We all have our quirks. Mine is apple juice. And I actually don't really like apple juice in any other context. I only like it during live streams, I'm finding. All right, let's go full screen here. We'll see my mug. See my big mug. Change our lens. Switch it out so we can all get nice and close up with our friend here. And if you ask why I don't just use a zoom lens, that is because they are slower. They don't keep up with movement very well, and the quality of the picture isn't great at the distances that I want to get with my sketchbook. That's a lot of techie stuff. So, all right. Oh, look at that. Just about perfect. Just about perfect. We have our pencils. I'm not going to go with that darker watercolor pencil just yet. I'm going to get some of the area around our friends here. So let's start with that. Look at that, how it changes. You don't expect it. I remember when I started working with watercolor pencils, I was very shocked at how it can brighten or lighten up or be a little darker, similar to how fountain pens work in some ways. Excuse me, fountain pens, watercolor, but also fountain pens. When you put it down and then you see the wash, you add a little wash to it, you notice that it ends up being a different color. Like if you have a brown, let's say, there's a brown that I have, then when you add water to it, it turns almost purple. It's really, really, I mean, I think it's pretty cool looking, but it was a surprise. And maybe I'll be lazy here and not have to use the other brushes. Go over. This is an opportunity to draw, by blocking it out. So it's a combination of drawing and painting to a degree. Giving it a little form, and I'm just kind of sort of masking or blocking out what I'm going to draw. And soften that edge there. We'll let that dry. But see, now I have more of the bird. So I wasn't too worried about every line because I knew once I added the water, it would make sense, make more sense. So now we have our friend here. I'm noticing there's some blocks of shadows that I didn't really catch before because I was paying attention more to the anatomy of the bird. We have our big open mouth there. Here. Right. And again, this is going to get rid of the big lines. Here. It'll be more like more atmospheric. And we'll kind of talk about that as we end up finishing up the drawing later. Okay. And the poofy here, the little fluffy feathers back here. All right. So we have a little bit of water. We need this to dry a little bit. So what I didn't do is don't have my heat gun with me, but we're just gonna this will air dry pretty quickly. Let's see, what do we have for a fan? Do we have an effective fan here? Something stiff but not too stiff. Can I not have something? Well, we'll use the sketchbook. We'll use my notebook where I planned everything out. So we can chat as I am air drying our friends here. But I am happy how this is, the layout is what I was, more or less what I was seeing in my head. I know this is the boring part. Watching me. Let's make it even more impactful. You can watch me someone's gonna go on the lens like, what is this person doing? Putting out a fire, lighting a fire? What is going on here? And then another thing we could do to pick up a lot of the water, I'll just set this aside right here, is grab a sheet of paper, or I'm just going to grab tracing paper and just apply it nice and lightly. Close the sketchbook, and that'll pick up a lot of the water without damaging the drawing or the wash that we just created. So I'm going to just do that real quick. We'll look here. So tracing paper, very thin. We'll set it aside for later if we need. Do. There we go. Almost perfect. Almost perfect. Set that aside. Put it gently over. Thank you. I like the way the layout turned out. close the book. And a lot of the excess water will pick up and lift off the paper, and that'll help us so we could start. We can come in, there we go. It's a lot. Do the back of the hand test. It's a little damp, but I'm going to use the dark watercolor pencil now. And I think we're okay on time, which is always good news. I don't like how let's see. I'm not happy with the point of this pencil, even though it's long. So I'm going to do a little sharpening on the side here. It's going to make it smaller, but I just want this to be, I want my point to be sharper. It's a nice sound though. Let's do this. I don't know if we could see it here. There we go. I know it's ridiculous, but I love how these things sound. All right, that's, I mean, I know it's not, but this point is nice and sharp, which is what I want. Okay. I like these sharpeners. So now I'm going to go into some of the harder, when I say harder, the more the blacks, the more defined detail block areas. Not everything, I'm just going to block it out. So I see there is a spot right there. Oh, I just lost my point. It's okay. This is enough. This area around the eye is super, super important. There's a straight line there. That helps define the other side of the top beak. Okay. Good. That area there. Just a little bit coming in here. And now I'm staying pretty loose. I'm not like maybe these. A little looser. And when I come back with the pen, it'll be even looser than that. And now I'm a little less afraid because I did a lot of work before, so I don't need to be too afraid of making mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes already, so and corrected all of them. I don't like using the word mistake, but my estimates. Use that word as if we're scientists. Okay. These are going to be, I have high hopes for these wrens. All right, there's my favorite feather here I don't want to lose. This is called the alula. And it is comes off of the elbow of the arm. I believe. Maybe I'm making a mistake there, but I'm pretty sure it's the elbow. It's called the alula. It's a single feather. So with birds, you don't want to draw every single feather. You draw the groups of feather, but that feather, that specific feather, that's called the alula. It also has a fantastic sounding name, is a nice detail to add later on. And you'll see why. It'll look. Okay, going back down. These are where the feathers from the chest end and the rump begins, if you want to. There's a little more, a little bit of the other wing popping out there. I come in and get now our tail. The tail is pretty dark. There's almost no sign of the marking on this side. Just an edge on this side. It's not a flat form, it has some form to it. Dark here. This wing comes out a little further. Add it. And that's pretty much all I want to do here. And we'll talk about the eye of the bird a little later. Go to the friend down here. Again, they're not friends. Maybe they're frenemies. Maybe. Define the mouth a little bit. Push this up a little bit. I'm glad I'm doing two of these on one big page. It's a little more interesting. And when I come in with the pen, because I did all this work, it is going to have more of a stylized look to it. I don't like the word style. I still don't like the word style, but it's the best we can come up with right now. My set of techniques would be let's see, this tail does not go out that far. Those rump feathers do not go out that far. There. It's a shorter tail because of the angle. this bird is turned more this way. That bird is turned a lot further this way, so the tail is further back. Nice defined areas here. There is a nice curve going here. Let's see. I think I missed something here. Back in the neck. Also talk a little bit about the markings and how to define the markings and show and what not to show. It can get a little, I don't know if I would say tricky, but you can get caught up in it pretty easily. Some of those details and those markings can be kind of, let's call it quicksand. There's some more line and contour coming out of here, a little more texture and subtle detail. We have our feet here, and the legs of the bird, it just doesn't come out straight like that. You're going to see this is actually the knee. The rest is tucked in here, like the thigh goes right back into the bird's form, so you usually don't see that. But what you do see is the feathering that covers that, call it the knee. I have to draw the entire foot, because again, all right, that's most. I feel like I'm missing some things here, so I just want to go back. There's some things I'm missing here in terms of light and dark that I don't want to miss. The wing, I think we went maybe. All right. That's a little better. It's a little better. That's much better. And that's good because my phone just died, and where I was looking at the other reference. But it's okay because we're in a good spot here. We are in a good spot here. All right, let's see. A good spot there. I'm making it the light and dark more dramatic because we're working with one color. So yeah, I think we're pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to take a little Excuse me, a little stretch. Oh wow, did you hear my elbows crack? Oof, getting older. I don't know if I have chocolate. I may need to run and get a piece of chocolate, but we'll get to that in a moment. We'll get to that in a moment. All right. I hope you're enjoying the live stream. We have our one. I have two Wrens, and I am going to again continue going kind of back and forth, but I'm going to take a smaller brush now, and I'm going to define just a little more of that shadow. And I'm just essentially heightening the lines that I created. Giving it a little more. Giving those lines, they're softer, but they also have like a little bit of pop to them. And next we'll go and use I'm going to use two fountain pens today. One with a toffee color, and the other is going to have a more color similar to this, a little more of a sepia color. Soften some of the lines here. So it's interesting, some of these watercolor pencils, some of them are more soluble, which means that they spread a lot more. And some, like this one, it doesn't bleed and blend the same way. Actually, that's it. I want to get rid of that. Just lighten that a little bit. There we go. And pretty close. Pretty close. This is all going to be that pine. Matter of fact, I'm just going to take the water soluble pencil and go in as it's wet. I can hear. See how it gets really dark. Really, really dark. Not too much because it's going to compete with our pen. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a little more water so it's not so harsh. Come down here. There we go. And this shadow shape here. Once I get to the fountain pen stage, the pen and ink stage, I'm going to have just like, it's going to be super, super loose. There we have that. Okay, that's as much as I want to define there. I think the head is still too big here, but and go back with our friend here. Let's take a look at our other friend here. Let's grab our other friend over here. And we do not have our other friend there. Okay, that's okay. I know that doesn't really look like much, but like I'm doing a whole lot. And darkening some of these lines. I'm not following the reference anymore, so I don't care if it's exact or not. I'm relying more on the feeling I want and what I already know about birds in terms of drawing them. Okay. Let this dry a little bit. This isn't so dry. Again, back of the hand. It's a little bit, so just a little bit. Take a all right. We can move on to our first ink, our first fountain pen I'm going to use. And this has a broader nib. It has a little bit of a toffee color to it, especially when you touch it with water. Okay. This should be looking down a little further, but it's not, so that's okay. Let's move this down a little bit. I'm staying pretty loose. Don't care about straight lines anymore. My scribble technique. It's a very, I'm calling it my scribble technique. It's not I didn't invent the scribble. And this I'm going to hit a little bit with water again. So I think we're good. We don't have to, actually don't need, like I said, I don't need the reference anymore. I really don't. Just a little bit random lines here. Right? Some of these, like, use some of those lines that I had before to give it a little bit of a sketchy look to it. Okay. Go down to this one. And actually, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of water. And this way, as I'm drawing here, as I'm working down here, that'll dry. And I'm going to use a very, very, very fine brush tip. So go ahead and get it. Another wash layer. Add some dimension to the bird. Just a little bit of wash. It's going right along the line here for a lot of it. Let that ink run a little bit. Okay, just at the bottom here now. And the feet are just going to disappear into the pine branch. It's looking like a rose or a flower, but that's okay. That's what I'm okay with that. All right, so now just wrap a little bit. There. Okay. Now, while that dries, I'll go in with the fountain pen on this bird here, on this friend over here. pretty loose. And I'm looking for texture at this point. Lines that give me a lot of texture. They're not accurate necessarily, but they are in that I already did a lot of this work to get the shape and the form, proportions I wanted. There we go. Get back down here. I'm just running my pen right along the different lines and the stains from the water, even the ones that were kind of sort of mistakes. So I'll add to that sketchbook look of discovery that I like. I think that's a good way to describe it. Not so much line style as discovery, your own discovery, your own thought of what you want to happen here. I'm not necessarily going on the line. Sometimes I even like outline the line. So like right here, make a little outline, not necessarily tracing. Lightly indicate that there's another leg back there. Let's see where else do I want to go here? Even get some of these. The lines from earlier. Even add some of those here to give some kind of character dimension. Okay. So I'm done with this pen. I'm done with that color. And I'm going to just heighten the lines. I'm gonna heighten the lines here. A little bit of dimension. Just bouncing my brush around over these lines. You could see how pink or orange, that lighter burnt sienna color comes out when you start adding the other browns. Okay, bouncing around here. Just to make those lines pop a little more. almost done here. I should have added a little bit, but it's okay. Shadow here. Too much light going on here. Same over here. It's a little too much light going. Okay. All right. I just added water there, so I have to dry that a little bit. But I think we're doing okay. I think we're doing okay. Let's see. Okay, there we go. You can see right there. It's a good angle. Right, that's a pretty good angle. All right. What do you think? Starting to turn into something? Starting to turn into something. Thank you, Patty. I don't know if these are going to look like wrens, but I mean, they're pretty much the size of a wren. They have the shape of a wren. They have the character of a wren. You know, you see little things like the tuft and the tail. So now I could just like experiment and do something that's mine. What music did I pick today? I think I didn't make a playlist for this. I just grabbed something random that I had in the past one. I have to learn how to be able to hear my own music. I don't want to I don't like wearing headphones when I'm doing this. One, they're kind of bulky. I know other people use them, and I have headphones, but the cable gets in the way, knock things over. So I keep it like this. All right. Do the little drying test. Pretty good here. Do the little drying test. Pretty good here. I'm going to start with this one because it's much more dry. And 2 wrens. As long as one of them looks like a wren, I'm happy. They both don't need to look like a wren. As long as one of them does, the other one, like, oh, okay, that's believable. Okay, so what am I doing now? Let's get up a little bit. Excuse my head getting out of the way. Just gonna go in, and now I'm doing the hatching. So I'm going to tighten up these lines. Make sure I could. Okay, this is a much thinner, finer nib. So you're going to see I'm pressing harder. And now here, so I think this is still too wet. No, it's okay. And for the eyes of birds, I try not to do like the iris because it starts to look a little too, I don't know if the word is cartoony. Not that that's bad. These are mostly going to be hatch marks. These come, let's see, here, coming in here. I'll even go across some of the lines. Here, definitely. I'm going to let these hatch marks work without a hard line there. Let's see. How do I want to deal with these? May have to go back in later, that's okay. And this pen that I'm using is a waterproof pen. And that helps, even though I'm not going to add another layer of watercolor for wash. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Let's see. I have to sit in the direction of the lines I want to create without moving around in my chair. Let's see. Let me see something for a second. Do I have enough ink? Yes. Yes. The spice flows. A lot of shape and contour lines to give it volume. Mixed in with some stylistic choices. Patching. There you go. And little by little, this is going to pop. I may do some wash around. I don't know yet. It has this little, feet have like a little ankle to them. There we go. And this I'm definitely going to. Now I can go back and forth because this is a waterproof pen, so I don't have to worry about smudging it. Let's go a little darker here. Crosshatch. And that just lightly indicating some of the markings there. Okay, let's see. What else? I'm gonna leave that like as is for now, and I'll go back. I'm gonna, like I said before, just keep bouncing back and forth between the two. Just keep bouncing back and forth between the two. Let's see now. Okay. It's a lot of tone. Let's see. Okay. Let's break up a few over here so you can tell it's just a bunch of feathers popping out back there. That's from the rump. The rump. All right. This is the fun part, but it's also, I say it's also, it can also be a little, I have to be careful not to get too, how would I say, over defining things, or feel like, oh, I need to do this more, I need to do that more, and then you overwork the drawing and it doesn't have a good feel to it. Okay, let's see here. That contrast between the feathers on the face. There's an eye ring here that I forgot on our friend over there. That's what's good about doing these two. I think I like is that I can spot something that I did wrong in one, so I could see that I want to add a little more. Well, I have the eye ring over there on the top one. There's something I want to define a little bit, I think. The line, the eye line. This is the eye line, that brow or giant eyelash. Eye ring, and then that form there. Add some scribble there to give it a little more character to the shape. I'll do that a little later again. It has been raining here for a while. It's a good, I mean, that's good. It's good to draw to, but it has been raining since, I don't know, yesterday? Well, definitely yesterday, but yesterday, yeah, since the morning. Just steady rain, not heavy rain, but just steady rain. think we're getting somewhere. I think we're getting somewhere. Those darken that bar. I wanted to separate from that poof, that floof in front of out and back of the wing. And this is not a scientific drawing. This isn't something that Peterson or Sibley or Audubon would do. This is totally about doing something that's expressive looking and interesting to me. Has to be interesting to me. There we go. Okay, like that. Not sure I like that, but the reason why I keep the eyes like that, I think I said before, is it gets to, even though it seems like it's, I don't know, soulless or something, it can. It's, if you try to like give it like detail, it ruins the head, in my opinion. It ruins the look and it distracts too much. That's what it is. That's how I would say it. It's very distracting. There is the 115 train rolling in. I live a few blocks away from the train station. I can hear it right now. I can hear it right now. Okay. Okay, there's a lot of white here, but I think I'm gonna get rid of some of it. This is too. There we go. It's too much white there. Right. So this stream, I have the stream planned on Wednesdays to go all the way up until 2 o'clock here, Eastern Standard Time, which is 45 minutes from now. And I'm realizing I usually start and say, I don't think I'm going to finish this. This is going to be hard. I'm sorry. However, I think I might finish this early. And hopefully they're all around. Maybe we'll figure out who to raid. Should do a raid. I did one the other day. I was so clueless. It was my first one. Had no idea how to do one. And it's fun. It was a lot of fun to do that. So maybe you can help me figure out who to raid next. An artist, a maker. Add some texture lines. Just adding some atmosphere here. So it doesn't look like so blank. Maybe that's what I'll do. Here. fine here. How are we looking? Too much? Too little? I think there's too much white going on here. Just tone that down. Okay. Let's give this same atmospheric. Nice. This one's buckling. Let's see if this is buckling. I'm gonna add some. So give it a little bit of atmosphere, so it's not so, I don't know, so stuck against that white. It looks, you know, make it looks a little blank there. So maybe that's something that I can do, is add a wash in there. All right, I'll figure that out later. But for now, I want to knock back these whites. It is not that white. It has more. Are those pretty kind of buff gold and reds, but not a lot of white. So I'm just gonna knock those back. Here. Get back some of those lines that I washed. All right, so that's my tasks for all of you. Give me some ideas on who to raid. I don't know if I'm supposed to ask you that. I should probably know already. I'll go take a look. Assuming I finish this on time, maybe I cursed myself and now I won't finish on time. But no, I believe in myself. I believe in myself. Okay, let's get a little bit more here. We'll work into our pine here. Let's see. So I think tomorrow we'll complete an entire first month. I started on February 1st, and if I go again tomorrow, which I think I will, I think so, in the evening, it will make it an entire month of not just I got on, but I kept the schedule, which is, I have to tell you, I am very happy with, I like Twitch. I like live streaming. I should have done it earlier. I started out trying to do YouTube, and I got so caught up and perfectionist about it. Well, yeah, I obviously you know more than I do. Again, I just started, and apparently it's good form to do a raid when you're finishing up a stream etiquette, which I'm just learning. that further. There we go. Let's get back up here over here. I just figured out how to do the chat controls. It was basically keeping everybody and anybody from chatting. So someone would come in, say hi, and I'd be like, "What happened?" And then they would tell me later, "I think your chat bot or whatever is super aggressive." So I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, let's just get a big tone here. And then I think I'm going to add a dark in here. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to add a dark or some kind of mid-tone wash to make these kind of pop out more. And then I'll see if I have too much light, but I feel like they're just floating here a little bit. I mean, I like the drawings themselves, but I feel like they're just floating a little bit. Did you? Was it mean? Was the message mean? Was it mean-hearted, mean-spirited message? I keep having talks with my chatbot after streams. I don't even know if it's doing the timed messages. I don't know any. It wasn't mean good. Good. It was being mean. It was being pretty mean. Let's see now. Excuse me. 1 second. Let's see. All right. I think I know what I want to do. I'm going to add a little bit of diluted fountain pen ink. And let's see. Your message wasn't posted. It wasn't mean, but it wasn't very nice. What conflicts? Wasn't posted due to conflicts with the chat channel's moderation settings. What does that even mean? Due to conflicts with the channel's moderation settings. What does that even mean? What can that mean? I'm gonna have to ask somebody. I'm on a Discord. I'm gonna save that. Let's see. Let's save this one. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna show it to I have a few Twitch friends now. And there we go. Saved. Send that over and be like, what are you doing to my friends, man? What is going on? Why are you being this way? I don't know why that. Was it the timing or something? Well, I mean, we're seeing it now, so thank you. Thank you. Follow. Oh, yeah. I have to test that. I think someone told me that there's like spam bots and they always like come on and promise followers. So that could have been it. I gotta figure it out. Okay. I'm gonna test this. So I think what I want to do is go in, use a little bit of fountain pen ink, like a mid-tone wash. It is a little bit. I could use a side of a fountain pen, but I'm not too sure I want to do that. So I'm just gonna put it in the little cap here. Hopefully fountain pen ink gets really like messy. I don't know if you see it. Oh, yep, spilled some there. I had a fountain pen accident yesterday. See, another one just right now. Just right now. So let's try something. Now, this is scary because I had no idea I was going to do this. This wasn't planned. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to add some water here just in case it doesn't work out. And get in there. Get a nice sky brown. Right in there. All right. You're gonna see now this paper is gonna buckle like crazy now, but it will straighten out. Let's see. How good or bad is that? Got a little wash there. It's a good thing. I did a little bit of I did watercolor on Monday. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It might be the spam settings of we promise you followers. I had that my very first. It was amazing. Like, how would they find me? This is like the first 30 minutes of my stream, my very first stream. And it showed up, the spam bot, and it immediately was like, sorry to bother you, but I'm going to walk in here and interrupt your stream and because I could get you followers. Like, come on, man. Go do that to someone else. All right, so taking this risk of adding a wash to it to make these, I don't know, have them in an environment, have them look like they're, they're somewhere. They're in the trees somewhere. Let it bleed. I don't want like an even texture, so I want like all these little effects here. So for example, I'll get some water. You're gonna see it opens up areas there. It's like a reverse splatter effect. Have them run down. And then it looks a little bit more sky-like. Reverse bloom. I'll call it that. I don't know. Did I just botch it? Did I ruin this? Could be. Like some trees in the background or something. Nothing like defined too much, but so it was just sitting on a blank page. I felt disrespectful to the birds. I was disrespecting these poor birds. Okay, here we go. And then I will, let's see. What I'm going to do is, so that's not like, I don't want it to be even. I can have the bottom area here be blank. Now it's deep in the trees. And a little bit here. Really carefully, I'm adding some. There. And then this is all going to be just water. Have the water just flow down. I think I should have added a little bit more here. Should overlap the bird a little bit. Like here. There we go. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. Something blurry. Okay, so down here, I'm down here now and just fading it out a little bit. And then I'll do a little splatter effect. People like the splatter effect, right? Who doesn't like a splatter effect? Who doesn't love a splatter effect? Nice and wet, run off the page. And yeah, I think now we're good. Now I'm happy. Happier, I should say. All right, let's put this cap away before I add it to the painting unintentionally. So I have a brush here that I like to use for the splatter effect. But first, I think since it's kind of like heading towards the end, I'm gonna go back, get a little wider, and we'll see how this whole thing looks. Oops. Sorry about that. Grab our other lens carefully because I have ink on my hands. So let me just, let's see, make sure it doesn't get on my... Speaking of blurred effect, we don't want fountain pen ink getting on the glass of the lens or the back. That would be a permanent blur, and I would be very sad to have to get another lens. Okay. Let's go here. Okay. I could do either a splatter effect or like a dry brush effect. Haven't decided. What are we thinking? Dry brush? Splatter? A little of both? This is interactive art. Yeah. This is interactive art. Dry brush, maybe? We used a credit card the other day. I don't know if the credit card's going to work here. Where's our credit card? Our credit card here. Let me try something here. It's too dry. Let's see. No, that I don't like too much. No. No, I don't like the dry. That. No. And it's already dry, so we'll do a little both. How about we do a little both and see how that works? I just want to make sure I cover the birds so that I don't. So I'll just use this little piece of scrap paper, lay it nice and lightly, and then get the area around them. So we'll try. Just a cheaper brush. And no. Test it here. So we're just gonna add texture, and then I'm gonna go reverse and add water. See, we're covering the birds, and then stuff. Contrast here. And then I'm going to just add some water. You're gonna see, it looks like it's a lot, but the water is going to do a reverse effect and help these bleed a little bit. It's gonna help these bleed. You're gonna see that they're gonna start bleeding. And then I could do things like so just like a grassy area underneath them. Add that there. See, we didn't do anything to our friends here. Start to have a little bit more going on here, maybe. Careful not to hit our... It doesn't matter if it overlaps a little bit. Fringe benefit of this is that I get ink splatter and ink splatter, watercolor splatter all over my keyboard. I'm going to test this out here. How I do a little, yeah. How I do a little ink splatter dry brush effect. Make it look like it's in the prairie somewhere. Okay, and a little bit of that. Break it up. Add some water in random places so it kind of melts all these twig effects. All right, so we did a combination of both. Do a little combination of both. Just come here, a little bit on the top here, and then I'll get some water and let it run in the opposite, and let it run down a little bit. It needed something, right? It did. It needed something. Same thing here. Nervous little lines. Probably because I'm tired. I'm starting to wear down here. Now the question is, did I take away from our friends? I think we're okay. think we're okay. It looks like a little random prairie things going on there. Just get a... I don't want that. Let's see, where are we? Where are you? Where are you, Thin Brush? All right, so I think what I want to do is... Oops, I didn't want to do that. It could take, let's see. There we go. Now we had it used for the credit card. This actually isn't a credit card. This doesn't even exist anymore. It was some like Bluebird Walmart type bank because I didn't have a proper bank. Better texture going. I want to define those pines a little better. So I'm going to go back in the thin brush and add a little bit of contrast there. I'll soften. Soften. And then I'll just use the I always like get nervous when I add something like that and I'm not sure, let's see, and I'm like, oh no, that was too much. I think in this case it's okay. In this case it's okay, and this one will be, because it's lower, I'm going to have it a little lighter. Let it run down, same thing here, let it run down. And now I think we're getting, this is a little better. Now I think this is a little better. I do have a brush pen. Then I can go ahead and add a little more detail here. In the eye. Just in the bottom here. So there's a contrast of light. Not too much. Not too much. And here. Again, not too much. Just some touches here and there. Some spots there. This is also, this brush pen also has fountain penning. So we're using, I don't know how many browns now. I lost touch. I lost count. It's a little light here. So it doesn't look so, I don't know, flat or, let's see. Let's see over here. Separate some of the groups over here. So we did a combination of hatching, washes, kitchen sink, splatter, got the credit card out. All right. I don't want to overwork it, and we're getting to that time. So I was able to fill most of our time. All right, I'm gonna check real quick. Let's do a little reach over my laptop, which is now covered in splatters of fountain pen ink. I would not have it any other way. And all right, come on now. Let's go see. Where are you? Where are you? Let's check this out. Okay. I'm gonna go. Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you. You know, to give myself credit, that was one of the things that was being blocked. Oh my goodness, what do we have here? What do we have here? Oh no. Okay, that wasn't an alert. That would have been well timed, but it wasn't an alert. Let's see. Who do we have that we can raid? Who is this? This is somebody, a mask maker. That is a another artist. I don't know who this is. I don't know who that is. Oh, I know who this. Oh, okay. We have to go raid him. This person. Have you ever seen? Okay, for real. Have you ever seen? My next stream is tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow evening. So we're going to be tomorrow evening. And why is this? Hello, Twitch. Please hush, hush, hush. Okay, my next stream is going to be tomorrow. I don't know. It's going to be some kind of creature or critter. Not sure yet. Maybe I'll draw one of the insects that these wrens like to eat. You know, at least give them their moment in the sun before they're hunted and pecked at by one of these two wrens. So it could be an insect. I haven't done an insect yet, and they're fun. So maybe I'll do an insect. If not, I don't know. We did a snow monkey last Thursday. That's tough to beat. It's good to have like a week to separate any animal from the snow monkey. It's hard. It's tough to compete with the snow monkey. So maybe a critter, maybe a creature. Yeah, we'll see. I think that would be all right. Let's this man, this gentleman. I think I don't remember what part of Europe he's from. He is an amazing woodworker. A wood carver. He creates these gorgeous masks. Join the raid if you like. I actually have never spoken with him. I don't even know if he speaks English or not. Maybe his moderator does. I know the commenters do. So I'm just gonna, whoever wants to go, I am going to do a quick, what's our raid? No. How do you do a raid? How do you do a raid? How do you do a raid? Everybody, help me out here. No. No. Did we? Chat settings. Settings. Can you give me a little raid action here? Can you give me a little raid action here? Where's our docs? Okay. I have no idea. I did this the other day. Where are we? Where are we? Why is it saying start a cool? I'm literally looking up how to raid because I think I got the command wrong. Where's our the last 5 minutes of the stream are going to be figuring out how to do a raid. There we go. Raid other streamer. That's it. That's it, really? That's it? Raid other streamer? That's all you have to do? That's it? I don't think that's it. I have my doubts. Delio Mask. Delio Mask. Let's raid you, Delio Mask. Oh no, it's not Mask. It's Delio Mac. All right, let's see if this works. Oh, do not allow you. Oh, that's what it is. It doesn't like raids. Of course. So the one person I thought it'd be fun to raid, I can't raid. I don't know anyone else. So who? Let's see. Who are you? Okay, Monster Pie. Who is this person? Just raiding random people. Okay, there's Crayolas here. They have a tree of Crayolas here. All right, let's do this person. I'm just finding someone. There we go. And they're a small streamer, so please. And if for some reason they do not allow raids, then I think we're just going to say goodbye. Monster Pie Zoe has a tree. Yes, there we go. All right, we'll join. And I guess we have just a few seconds left. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Let's go raid someone and say hi to them and say hi to their tree. We'll just take a quick look again, and I think we turned out okay. Thank you for joining, and let's go raid someone. Bye.
Oh, thank you, Cubby Silks, for your follow.